In the early days, Reddit was just links. Everything went external. Now, about half of our content is text posts, people talking about things.
On April 1st, there was an announcement on the front page saying that there was this new subreddit.
All of a sudden there was just a link on the side of the page that said, like, did you press the button?
I love Reddit. You can get anything you want on there. Do you want a detailed update on world events? Reddit has that. Do you want a video of a dude pooping in a toilet? Wrong. Reddit has that too. Information on how to fix something in your home step by step? Reddit has you covered. Backyard fights held in Florida? You better believe that Reddit is all over that. But there have been a few times when Reddit has created some wild threads that have sent people off their rocker. Now I have to say that I don't personally think all of these threads should be banned. Some I think are hilarious, but I just wanted to focus on the ones that the internet found the most outrageous. Hello again, Most Amazing Top 10 family. I am your host, Jay Dorena, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. For today's list, we are going through the Redditverse to bring you the top 10 scary Reddit threads that should be banned. If any of you at home want some more Most Amazing Top 10 content, you should check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and stick around until the end of this list because I'm going to be answering some questions from my Instagram inbox. If you want to ask me any question, you can hit me up through the gram. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. Coming in at number 10, we have The Button. A subreddit called The Button started a thread that was literally just a countdown timer next to a button. It was up at 60 minutes, and if you press the button, it would move the counter down 1 second. You can only press the button once, and after a certain amount of time, it would reset. People would come in and press the button like crazy, but it has never reached 0. One time it made it to 0, but nothing happened, and apparently that was a glitch. The big question is, what happens when it reaches 0? That is why it is on this list. This button is just one massive anxiety attack. How serious of an event will happen when this button reaches 0? Maybe the glitch is what happened right before 2020 kicked off, and that's why everything has gone to hell. Whatever is going to happen, I don't need to be thinking about it ever again. Coming in at number 9, we have what is the creepiest thing? Here's a Reddit thread that you can read through for hours if you want to just have endless stories that are completely horrifying. The Reddit thread has been archived because the person who asked the question deleted their account, but the Redditor asked this question: what is the creepiest thing that you or someone you know has ever experienced? It says serious in brackets at the beginning, and oh boy, do people go hard in this thread. Some of the stories are about meeting murderers, near misses with sex offenders, and there's some horrible stories that will make your skin crawl. Literally, some of the stuff on here is way too gruesome for me to get into, but it is a great late night read with the lights off if you really want to give yourself a scare. There really isn't a way to fact check any of these stories, but if we're talking about Reddit stories, it is more about how they made you feel and not whether or not they're actually real. That rhymed. That's weird. Coming in at number 8, we have Are the Donalds threads. Let's bring in one of the things that breeds the most toxicity on the internet. It doesn't matter if you're a Trump supporter or if you hate his guts and want to see him dragged into the streets like Gaddafi. Whenever this dude is brought up on the internet, it seems to spark vicious words of hostility. There are several threads on this subreddit that have caused a ton of hatred. One of the strangest ones is one that was started ranting and raving about how everyone in the community hates Ariana Grande. I don't know why this community of Donald Trump supporters hates a pop star so much, but apparently that's a big thing to them. If you want to see any of these threads just to snoop around, well, good luck. You're gonna need to find some other way of peeking inside other than going right to the source, because the group has been on lockdown and the only way you can get inside is by being invited in. I really would like the key to this clan because I just want to know what's going on in their minds. Coming in at number 7 is kids say the creepiest thing. There always is going to be something strange coming out of a kid's mouth. Sometimes it's just gibberish and a massive waste of time, but every now and again they will hit you with something that will make your skin crawl because of how terrifying it was. The Reddit thread, which is the creepiest thing you've heard a child say, covers this very well. There's stories about kids talking about ghosts, and one that really freaked me out was when a family was sitting down playing cards and their 3-year-old's facial expression just changes out of nowhere. Then he walks into the garage and starts crying in the corner. The parents are trying to figure out what's wrong, and their son just keeps saying, "He says I'm his." Well, that's enough to give you nightmares for the rest of your life. Coming in at number 6, we have what is a potato? Okay, I want to start off by saying this is one of my most favorite Reddit threads of all time. I love this story and it kills me every time I read it. The only reason why it's on this list of threads that should be banned is because I don't think anything will ever top this. It's so funny that I almost think it needs to be removed from the internet so other things can feel that they can compete with this. It just touches my dumb sense of humor so perfectly. So the thread is started by a guy who's recounting a story of when he goes to his girlfriend's house for dinner for the first time. He thought he would do a gag where he would sit down at the dinner table and he would pretend not to know what a potato was. He commits to the bit for so long that eventually he gets kicked out of the house, and it's absolutely amazing. You have to read this thread. Alright, coming in at number 5, we have truckers of Reddit. Okay, now back to threads that need to be banned because they are insane. A question was asked to the Reddit world, and that question was, truckers of Reddit, what is the craziest, scariest, or most bizarre thing you have experienced on the road or at a truck stop? And holy moly, there's a ton of terrifying stories coming out of this one. You want ghost stories? Oh, truckers got that. You want stories about people diving in front of their trucks? You better believe that this thread has got that. You want stories about crazy drifters, bodies found in truck stops, insane levels of food poisoning from truck stop food? This thread has got all of that. But if you don't want that kind of stuff, you probably think this thread should be banned. Coming in at number 4, we have the ocean blue. The Redditor Icefalls wants to know what's going on under the ocean, and there are a few ways you can go about this. You could go in and look for yourself, but that would probably take a lot of time and money. You could watch a bunch of documentaries about it, but all that info is coming from a middleman who gets to cut out a lot of the good stuff. Instead, our Redditor just went and asked, Dear deep sea fishers of Reddit, what is the strangest thing you've seen or heard on the open ocean? And if you're afraid of open water, let me tell you, this thread should be avoided. The thread starts off with some people talking about alien encounters out on the ocean, and a few different fishermen chime in to share their stories. Then it goes in to talk about sharks that have bitten straight through fish when they're getting brought to the surface, and only 3 comments in, you have someone talking about when their boat was attacked by a Japanese submarine. They shot torpedoes at them. It's a thread that really makes you want to stay on land. Coming in at number 3, we have ghost stories. It should be no surprise that we are going to throw something on this list that has to do with ghost stories. Redditor Croca4Loca asked the wonderful world of Reddit, what's the most unexplained supernatural or paranormal event you have ever witnessed? Most of the stories on this list are creepy enough to keep you up all night. If you ever question whether or not demons and ghosts are real, this thread will have you leaning towards the answer of they are 100% real and they want to kill us all. Coming at number 2, we have history but not history. So on a thread about the creepiest thing to ever happen in history, someone left a story that doesn't really have anything to do with history, but it did have a lot to do with making me afraid to live alone. It's a story about a girl who was living alone. She was walking out of her room and she went to put on her shoes before she left. She bent over to tie her shoes and then she saw someone underneath her bed. She pretends like she didn't see him and then she calmly walks into the bathroom, turns on the shower, and then she climbs out the window and calls the police. The police come in and then arrest the guy, but that story alone is enough to get this thread banned. I don't want anyone giving weirdos ideas of how to sneak into a house and scare people like this. And coming out of the number 1 spot, we have doctor stories. When it comes to creepy things happening, anything to do with medicine is one that always freaks me out the most. Just the idea of a doctor forgetting something in a person's body, or giving someone the wrong drug, or having to deal with brutal accidents, or just death in general, seems like way too much for a person to bear, and they do it almost every day. I don't know how, but I do respect the hell out of them, even though they kinda creep me out. But this thread did not help quell my fears at all. The thread, Doctors of Reddit, what's the creepiest thing you've encountered while on the job, had stories of doctors dealing with intense overdoses to having people who they thought were dead come back to life. One of the craziest things I read on this thread was about a psychiatrist who had to treat someone who had tried to saw both their arms off with a table saw. They were successful, but doctors managed to reattach their arms. That is terrifying. Alright guys, that has been the list, and now, as promised, I'm going to be reading out some questions from my Instagram inbox. Emmett wrote in and asked, what happened to pet shoutouts? I'm taking a break from pet shoutouts for now. I thought questions would be a fun change of pace. Maybe I'll bring them back down the road, but for now I'm going to keep answering some of these questions because you guys are asking great questions. LittleBear6070 wrote in and asked, why did you choose comedy instead of, say, acting? Well, I never wanted to be an actor. Comedy was something that I tried and fell in love with, but acting has always been something I've dabbled in but have never really wanted to explore any deeper than the surface level. I love the whole process of stand-up. Like, I love crafting jokes, I love going on stage, I love killing. I even love bad sets because you learn so much from them. But acting is something I respect but don't really have the same inclination to become great at. And finally, ODDOLATO wrote in, how cold is your face without your face coat? And honestly, it's not cold at all. It's summer here and I'm kinda loving it. I haven't gotten clean shaven in so long and I might bring it around a little more often. It makes me look even more adorable. Alright everyone, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I have been your host, SHOUTOUTS, and keep checking out those crazy Reddit threads because they are amazing.
Alright, here we go, part 2.
Cheeks look really white.
Nice, got some whitening strips on
No, I just brush, that's it. Okay. Ugh.